Thank everyone for tuning into another informative video here on the Information Age. Today, family, we have a great debate. My brother Prodigy versus Zerubbabel. Okay. The debate title is The Origins of the Ankh. All right. The brothers have been battling in the back chats. They've been having it out, these back alley debates. So now they bring it the information to give it to you guys. All right. And I have two special guests here, okay? Special judges. And the first person I'm going to introduce is my brother. This guy, I watched him from going live on his Facebook page, okay? Dropping the information to now he has a great thriving platform where he is bringing you the information, guys. He's your favorite racist. You know him from Damn Gina. My good brother Crumb, the master student. Okay. And the second guest that I'm sorry, judge, that I'm going to introduce. You guys, if you conscious and awake, you have watched Sinetta TV. Okay. This guy has been banging hard from the Hebrew Israelites to the Christians. Okay. This guy was born into comedic science. Okay. Most people say, hey, I'm going to study this, but a lot of people doesn't know that his mother was a big part of the comedic information here on this soil. Okay. Everybody know Dr. Henry Clark and different ones, but what they don't know is the brother Shaka Upmost mother, okay, was very vital in that movement. So without further ado, my brother who brought you the expose of King James, Shaka Upmost. Okay. Denise Worley, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Hey, y'all. So, today we have Zerubbabel Judah and Prodigy Voorhees on the origins of the Ankh. They're going to do two 12-minute rounds, and then it's going to be a question segment where it's 3 questions. The person gets 2 minutes to reply to the questions. Do the debaters want to introduce, or do you just want to go straight into the debate?
We can introduce, man, because I want to give my premise. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we was already in Ampool Crew. We was in a discussion, and the brother, as soon as I said, nah, that represents a damn penis and a damn a uterus. He said, nah, nigga, I'll debate you on that. This is why we're here. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, Prodigy, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to the panel. Definitely, Sister Ivy, Denise, Shaka, I see you. The brother Crumb, first time meeting you. My name is Prodigy Voorhees, man. I'm tapping in all the way from Compton, California. Definitely want to give a shout out to the Ampool Crew team, my aunt. The reason why we're having this debate tonight, because my opponent, which is a self-proclaimed Hebrew Israelite, he's under the assumption that the origin of the Ankh is a penis and a vagina. He's stating claim that the original meaning that the ancient Egyptians, the whole point of the Ankh being created was of a womb, a penis, and a vagina. Of course, I have a opposing view, and I'm here to state my claim. So definitely want to. I'm definitely ready for this debate. So let's get it cracking.
Okay, Zerubbabel, you were supposed to go first.
All right.
So hold on, let's get your time together. The timekeeper, me. 12 minutes.
Oh, and
Okay.
shout out to Shaka Atmos and the brother the brother the
Crown.
second man. Appreciate that. All right.
Okay, your time will start when you start.
All right. Can I share my screen? Slides. All right. Let me know if you can see my screen. Yeah? Can y'all see it?
No. Okay.
All right. You see it now?
Yep.
All right. Let's wait till it get on there. Hey, I'm a newbie, man. Bear with me, yo. For real. Hold on.
Well, y'all newbies with the stream, y'all. I don't know.
I know that. Hey, we be working and working.
Just go to where it says share, and then it'll give you options of what you want to share. See where it says share on the bottom?
Say it again, Shaka.
Do you see where it says share on the bottom? If you look on the bottom of your screen on your StreamYard, it says share, right? It says mute, stop cam on your StreamYard dashboard. It says mute, stop cam, settings, share. And then it says leave studio. Can you see it?
Yeah, hold on.
It's real easy to find. It's literally at the bottom of your screen
Yep.
and on your StreamYard dashboard. You see where it says share?
Yep.
All right. So when you click on that, it'll give you options of what you want to share. And just click on exactly what it is you want to share. I'm being paid extra for lessons here tonight.
Yeah, you
for StreamYard lessons.
can see it now.
Can you see it?
I mean, can you see what I'm saying?
Oh no, your screen is blank. Okay, there we are. Yeah. The origins, meaning of the Ankh, and it looks like it's a PowerPoint or a slide. Okay, cool.
Appreciate that, Shaka.
Don't mention it. I'll send you the bill. I'll send you the bill.
You're gonna send me the bill. All right. So we know the Ankh, it's also look, these are not my words.
Oh, can I ask who's speaking? Who's speaking?
This is Zerubbabel right now.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. So we got the Hebrew Israelite on point.
Yeah, it's the Hebrew Israelite.
All right, cool.
All right. Oh, these are not my ideas, but I do want to converse back to the brother, and hopefully we can learn something. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully. So, all right. So the Ankh, the Egyptian cross, so-called, also known as the Ankh, was originally the Egyptian hieroglyph used to represent the word life. And anybody that's got the what's that book? It's the book, man. It's got all the hieroglyphs of the Ankh, and it does say life, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. By extension, this cross became primarily a symbol of life.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The verb Ankh means to live. It also refers back to live or life.
Okay.
There's no doubt about that. Yet there is no way to justify the translation of its participle as living or alive where it occurs. The god Thoth registers King Pepi above the Anku. And we all know what that's. Yeah. Text of Pepi the first, utterance 469, 964F on the charts. Ankh is a part of being the epithet of the gods that we use for being. My bad. Sorry. All right. Now, additionally, Ankhs were traditionally placed in sarcophagi and ensured life after death. Now, we all know how the Egyptians figured after death, right? We all know. They tried to figure that, once you die, you still have a life after death. That's why you see all these unks the around the the coffins. That's why you see all this, because the Ankh shows similarities of the knot of Isis. Some speculate that Ankh and the knot of Isis represents the same thing, an intricate bow. Other theories claim that the Ankh could signify a cohesion of heaven and earth, interlinking male and female symbols, or could ceremonially girdles. The Ankh is one of the most recognized symbols from ancient Egypt, known as the key to life. We all know the Ankh is the key to life. We all know, if you even if you read in the dictionary of the Middle Kingdom, it still says the Ankh is the kingdom is a key to life. It still represents life. You know what I'm saying? And dating from the early dynastic period from 3150 to 2613, it is a cross with a loop at the top, sometimes ornament with symbols and decorative flourishes, most often simply and plain gold cross. It is an Egyptian hieroglyph symbol for life. We can't really get around the fact that they thought of it as life. That's it. It's a word, life. All right. Now, hieroglyphic symbol for life or breath of life, the Ankh, and the Egyptian believes that one's early journey was only part of an eternal life. We all know they believed in the afterlife. They did. I'm surprised that cats ain't really chasing the afterlife. I'm surprised, but they do believe in the afterlife. Well, I'll say they did. Carried by a multitude of the Egyptian gods, of tombs, paintings, inscriptions worn by the Egyptians as an amulet. You know, they believed in this. You know what I'm saying? The Ankh only means life. There is no way around it. And I'm not trying to be too short with my time, but that's exactly what the hell they believe. Or at least our master teachers in the Egyptian spirituality believe that. And that's what they teach. And don't forget, I'm an Israelite. It ain't about me, but I'm just saying. This is what our people, our elders, teach. Right? Okay? So I'm gonna keep it short with that, man, and I'm gonna let this brother go on here and spill his spill, man.
Okay. So that was Zerubbabel. You're short and sweet. That it meant life.
Short
And
and
now you
sweet.
feel the
Short and
represent.
sweet. You got it right.
It represents both. So Prodigy, are you ready?
Hello, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Okay, so let me did he unshare his screen?
I think I did.
All right, let me share my screen. All right. All right, hit share. All right, is my screen being shared?
Not yet. I don't even see it up here yet.
Oh,
All
it
right,
might take a
yeah,
second.
Oh,
now.
there.
Not
Yeah.
yet. No.
One
Oh, I
second.
don't see it.
Shit ain't gonna be
Okay,
too
yeah,
long.
I see it. I see it. Yes.
Okay, you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So let me make sure. All right, so you see my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Denise, let me know when you're ready to start my time. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Um, Zerubbabel, before I get into my presentation, brother, let's not forget the reason why we're here to debate. You made the statement and the claim that the origin of the Ankh was a penis and a vagina. You failed miserably to do that off the dribble. Very, very bad presentation, brother. If you are trying to prove indeed that the Ankh is a penis and a vagina. So let's get into my presentation.
Okay.
What is the meaning? Can you go on mute, brother, please? Thank you.
Oh, I got you. I got you, bro.
Okay. What is the meaning of the Ankh symbol? A woman's womb, a man's phallus, or the key of life, the eternal breath, etc., etc. All right. Since the 1960s, amongst the Black conscious community, there has been a notation that the Ankh originally represented a woman's womb, vagina, and a man's phallus. This ideology is rooted in conjecture and speculation. Sadly, my opponent has fell victim to what we call in academia a bandwagon fallacy. The bandwagon fallacy describes believing something is true or acceptable only because it is popular belief. Also, it is called appeal to popularity, which is a logical fallacy that is based on the assumption that something must be true or good if it's in accordance with the opinions of others. It is extremely common error and can be committed either unintentionally or on purpose. And unfortunately, my opponent has done this to himself on purpose, but today he will be corrected, rejected, and edified. Let's move on to the next slide. This is a book called Temples of the African Gods by Michael and Johann Haney. And what blew my mind about this book is that on page 6, it has this image of a petroglyph of the sun. And what do you see in the middle of the sun? The Ankh. So let's look down and read the description at the bottom. It says, first recorded Ankh, petroglyph of Southern Africa. Let's go more into this information. It says on page 6 of the book, Temples of the African Gods, we see the first recorded petroglyph inscription of what we recognize today as the Ankh, which has been found in South Africa. As you can see, the Ankh symbol is inside of the sun glyph. The Ankh is inside of the sun because the sun gives life. The sun radiates light and heat or solar energy, which makes it possible for life to exist on Earth. It's obvious that this first recorded inscription of the Ankh has absolutely nothing to do with the female womb or the man's phallus. So by default, this debate is over. If my opponent can't show a depiction of a Ankh that represents the male and female reproductive organs before this petroglyph, then this debate is over. But since I'm in a good mood and I feel like burying another Hebrew Israelite, let's move on with the presentation. Zerubbabel, you see what's on the screen? Is this where you're getting your methodology from? This is called a New Age common hypothesis, the Kemetic womb of mankind and eternal life. See, you see these memes all across social media. You see it on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. It's just a fluctuation of these kind of memes that's describing new age hypothesis. You see here the loop at the top, they claim it's a uterus. These two things sticking out on the side, they claim it's the sunset and the sunrise, or the fallopian tubes. The vertical piece hanging down, they claim this is either a phallus or a vaginal canal. Let's look to the right. It says the true mystery of the Ankh revealed, the male and female reproductive organs combined. This is a new age common hypothesis. The ancient Egyptians did not teach that. So if they didn't teach it, then where did it come from? Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to an amateur mythologist by the name of Thomas Inman. Let's go into a little bit of information why he is known on record as being the first person in history to claim that the Ankh was indeed a vagina and a penis. Let's read it. It says Thomas Inman, an amateur mythologist in the 19th century, believed the Ankh represented the male and female reproductive organs joined into a single symbol. In 1869, Thomas Inman published Ancient Pagan and Modern Christian Symbolism. He interpreted the loop of the Ankh handle as a female's vagina and the three prongs of the cross as a male's phallus, together forming a union that suggested fertility. Thomas Inman drew his conclusion by suggesting that all mythology started with phallus worship. This is where it comes from. Zerubbabel, why didn't you tell us this is your master teacher? This is where you're getting it from. Nowhere in ancient Kemet can you find, especially in a language, where the Ankh is associated with the phallus or the vagina. Let's take a look in this book. It's called Ancient Pagan and Modern Christian Symbolism on page 8. In this depiction, Thomas Inman decided to anthropomorphize this figure into the symbol of the Ankh. The right side is male, the left side is female. Now pay attention to the Ankh symbol right here, right here. The reason why it's turned sideways is because the vertical part of the Ankh is on the right side of the male, representing the phallus. The loop part of the Ankh is on the left side of the female, representing the vagina. This is what you call a logical fallacy that was created by Zerubbabel's master teacher, who was an amateur mythologist named Thomas Inman. He wasn't even an Egyptologist. So this is what we do. Let's get into the language. Let's get into the language, right? Now, what I'm using right here is the Mark Vigus Hieroglyphic Dictionary. As you can see here, we see the glyph for the penis is right here. And the glyph at the bottom is the flesh. Zerubbabel, there's no Ankh right here in the depiction of the penis. Where is it? You claim that the Ankh was a penis. Here's the glyph here. There's no Ankh. Let's go to the next slide. Right? Zerubbabel, these are the glyphs for the vagina, the private parts. We see the raised arms, the bread loaf, and the flesh symbol. There's no Ankh here, Zerubbabel. Also, we see right here, vagina, vulva. Vulva is the lips on the vagina, or the outer flesh of the vagina. Zerubbabel, there's no Ankh here. So how are you stating claim that the origin of the Ankh is a penis and a vagina or a womb, and we see no Ankh in the language, right? So let's go to the next slide. This is the glyph for the womb and the uterus. You see this right here, what I got highlighted? This is the uterus. This symbol is the flesh. There's no Ankh here. Zerubbabel, I thought you said the womb on the Ankh, or the loop part, was the womb or the vagina. Why there's no Ankh symbol here? Because it's not associated with the uterus. So let's go deep into this, right? Let me go back out a little bit, right? So these are the glyphs for the vagina and the private parts, right? So this is a depiction in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs that means vagina, private parts, or womb, and the word is kat. So now, if you pay attention, there are 3 glyphs and not one Ankh symbol in sight. Now, if you look at the top, we see the raised arms, We see the raised arms, which is biliteral. And that glyph represents two consonants, and those two consonants represent the K. And after the K, you see what we call a diacritic 3. We also have the letter T, which is represented by the raised bread loaf. The bread loaf is a monoliteral representing the letter T. Now, this last glyph is what is called a determinative. And these determinative glyphs help determine the meaning of the word. These determinate glyphs usually come at the end of words like we see here in these particular glyphs. So this picture is the actual depiction of a birth canal, not the vertical line at the bottom of an Ankh. You see how it tapers over to the left and to the right, and then it
2
curls?
minutes.
Them curls is representing the ovaries. We have the fallopian tubes curling into the ovaries. This is not an Ankh. This is the birth canal. This is the vagina. This is the womb. There's not an Ankh in sight. This picture is the depiction of a female womb, not the Ankh. Zerubbabel, you have some explaining to do. So, by Zerubbabel's logic, by him claiming that the Ankh is a vagina, a womb, and a penis, if we are dealing with his methodology based upon the metu nature, the language, then this is what the Ankh should look like. A woman's womb and a man's phallus doesn't look like an Ankh to me. If we was basing the Ankh off of the language, because you can't get a full understanding on a symbolism if you don't know the language. So according to the language and the ideology of my opponent Zerubbabel, a woman's womb, this is the glyph, and a man's phallus, that is the glyph. According to him, this is what the Ankh should look like. And we all know this ain't the Ankh. So that's it for my first round. I'm going to land my plane. And thank you for your time and cooperation. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate that. It's my time.
Okay, there you go. I couldn't find the things at all. Okay. Yes, it is your turn.
Yeah. Now, what he's talking about, anybody that reads any glyphs or
Get right into it.
in any of the metanetta knows that a man's phallus does not mean penis. It means copulate. It does. So I don't know what he's trying to convey in his fucking damn premise. He's not making any sense. It really literally means copulate. It does not mean male penis. It doesn't. There's no way around that, man. Now, so you could try that shit again, man, if you want to. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get one of your elders to say what the fuck they said. Hold on. Am I sharing my screen?
No, you're not. No, you're not right now.
Right now. All right. Just let me know when y'all can see it. Can y'all see it?
Yes.
Can y'all see the meaning of the Ankh? This is one of his elders.
Yes, we see it.
All right. So I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna let him talk. He's gonna say a whole bunch of stuff.
We're calling me the Ankh man. Yes. And this divine sign, this is the preeminent sign of the African spiritual high culture because it honors first of all the mother, the womb. It honors the father and the synthesis, the children that comes from the womb through the seed of the father. It also symbolizes the water that rises up from the earth up to.
Now, he's saying a lot, but he is specifically saying this is the womb, this is the fall. Okay? I'll even let that. I'll even let him continue, man.
To the clouds, falling back on the earth as rain to bring vegetation out of the ground. It also is spirit, mind, and matter. So, however you look at Ankh, it shows the continuous regeneration of the life force. Now, when the Romans adopted Christianity in order to co-opt it,
That's enough right there. Now, these are the things that these brothers. Hey, can y'all see my screen? Can y'all see my
Yeah,
screen?
yeah, we
Okay. Now, this is not nothing that no Israelites made up. This is for this is from Comedics, uterus, womb of life, sunset, sunrise, fallopian tubes. Why would you want to wear fallopian tubes around your neck? Why would you want to do that? And it comes down to say vaginal canal. Who wants this, man? Who wants this? Is this what we doing now? Come on. We can't be doing this. So you can't sit there and say, oh, we don't believe this, but yet and still y'all run around and this is what y'all damn repeat. Okay? If you want to change it today, you can change it goddamn today. Yeah, you can change that shit today, man. Yeah. Even back here, the Ankh is one of the most recognized symbols of Egypt. We all know it's Kemet. We cool. We can rock with that. Known as the key of life, of the cross of life, whatever they want to call it, and dating from the early dynastic period. This goes back to the fucking first dynasty, right? We can go all the way back to the first dynasty. They've been recognizing this damn Ankh shit forever. And it even says, hey, the origin of the Ankh is on the origin. The Egyptologist Sir Alan Gardner, 1879 to 1973 CE, thought it developed from a sandal strap. We know that's bullshit, right? Off tops. With two with the top loop going around one's ankle and the vertical post attached to a sole at the toes. Gardner came to this conclusion because the Egyptian word for sandal was ankh, but that is not life. That knock, that's not knock. It's not. It's not life. It's not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And I would get into that the jig, but I already see that my homeboy is not on that. Yeah, he not ready for that. But yeah, definitely ain't ready for that. And the cult of Osiris became the most popular in Egypt until the cult of Isis, which told the same story and promised the same rewards, dominated it. Osiris continued to be greatly admired, but in time became a secondary character in the story of this resurrection and rebirth. She was not the fucking damn same one that came up with that fucking man. She wasn't, man. I mean, look at all these fucking unks. And actually, I could fucking excuse my language.
Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Who's that? Shaka. Shaka, like, yeah, I got you, nigga. Okay. Well, yeah. I don't even know if it's really worth getting into it, man. I don't know. Oh, I know what I did want to share. I'll share this with you. We all know of Ishtar, right? From Babylon, right? We all know about Ishtar from Babylon. And she even has those same rings that are on the top of the fucking Ankh. She has those. Look at all this. Goes way back to Babylon. Let me get something I can read to y'all. All right. Ishtar had a significant impact on the images and cults of many later goddesses. What later goddesses would she have an impact on? Like Ma'at. Ma'at was a goddess. Isis was a goddess, right? Many goddesses from the classical period, as such as Aphrodite, Artemis, Athena, all that from being among most commonly attested of ancient Mesopotamia deities. She had fallen into almost complete obscurity. Ishtar slides into modern day anomaly, likely likely resulted from uh, a variety of causes, but can be mostly plausible to a disappearance of cuneiform systems
2 minutes.
forever. Okay, 300 years. I can't believe I went that long. All right, 3,000 years. Cuneiform was the primary reason for the communication throughout the ancient Near East into parts of the Mediterranean. It fell into use around 400 BC, although the process involved in this change remained enigmatic. Ishtar's influence in the ancient world subsided alongside the script used to record her myths. So they knew about these type of shit. They knew about goddess of fertility. You know what I'm saying? They knew about this. You know what I'm saying? They knew. So with that, man, I yield my time.
Okay. Prodigy, sir, are you ready?
All right. Can y'all hear me a little bit better? I know it was said that my mic was a little too loud, so pardon me,
Yeah.
excuse me for that. How do I sound now? Am I cool now? Okay,
Yes.
cool. Okay, cool. Um, so Denise, are you ready to start? A matter
Yes,
of
sir.
fact, let me share my screen right quick before you start my time. All right. So click on this. All right. Is my screen being shared?
Yes.
Yes, we see it
Oh,
now.
Oh,
you
yeah.
see it?
I'm gonna mute myself. All right.
Please do, sir. Thank you. So you guys can hear me?
Yes, we hear you perfectly.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, cool. All right. So if you look up the definition of piss poor scholarship, I'm pretty sure you will see the picture of Zerubbabel with his screen turned off right next to it. This is horrible. And really it's a waste of my time, but it's cool because at least I get a chance to edify the people. He just brought up Ishtar, claiming that the rod and ring symbol that Ishtar is holding, I guess he was trying to insinuate that this is where the Ankh comes from. Well, let's see if that's true. It says the rod and ring symbol is a symbol that is depicted on Mesopotamian steles, cylinder seals, and reliefs. It is held by a god or goddess, and in most cases is being offered to a king who is standing, often making a sacrifice or otherwise showing respect. The symbol dates from the third dynasty of Ur to the Neo-Assyrian period. So the first time these rod and ring symbols pop up in Mesopotamia is in the third dynasty of Ur. So when we deal with chronology, when was the third dynasty of Ur? It says the third dynasty of Ur, also called the Neo-Sumerian Empire, refers to a 22nd and 21st century BCE ruling dynasty. Zerubbabel, the Ankh dates back all the way to what? Maybe about 800 years before this. Eight to 900 years. Matter of fact, let's go right here. It says the Ankh well, I'm not even gonna go into the ISIS not, but when we look at the Ankh, it's dated at the first dynasty, 30th to 29th century BCE. The rod and ring symbols of Ishtar goes back to the 22nd and 21st century BCE. The Ankh predates the rod and ring symbols that we find on Ishtar and Ur. The Ankh couldn't have come from that, sir. So really, I'm not here to talk about the rod and ring symbols. I just wanted to address that because, of course, I can go into the cartouche and show the rod and ring symbols on a bird in ancient Kemet of where actually the Sumerians got that from. But let's continue on with my presentation, right? So it says here, the meaning of the Ankh symbol. Let's keep it moving. It says here, we see Akhenaten and Nefertiti reverencing the sun god Aten. We see the Ankh in Akhenaten's hand and Aten shining the rays of Ankhs upon the pharaoh. Zerubbabel, I have a quick question. If we go by your methodology, are you saying that the sun god Aten is shining down rays of vaginas and penises on a pharaoh Akhenaten? Because this is what you teach, right? The Ankh is a vagina and a penis. So is this what you're stating claim? That Aten is shining down rays of penises and vaginas. Okay. Zerubbabel, another question. If you're going to use the methodology of a Eurocentric teacher, which I have no problems with because information is information, why would you use a amateur mythologist like Thomas Inman? Why didn't you use somebody like Alan Gardner? At least he claims that the Ankh was a sandal strap because of illustrations on Middle Kingdom coffins, and they resembled a hieroglyph. And he argued that the sign originally represented the rope. The rope, the rope. The rope is very significant because the rope means to bind, and we're going to get into that, right? So it says Gardner list of hieroglyph signs, labels, and the Ankh as S34. Let's keep it moving. Let's go into the language, which my opponent chose not to do. He just went on random websites and didn't actually get into the language of the actual ancient Egyptians, right? So let's go here. Let's look at the language. The Ankh, sandal strap. Ankh, a mirror. Let me edify the people right quick. The Ankh just does not mean life or living. There's various things that's attached to the word Ankh, just not life or living. Like we see here, sandal strap, mirror. We see the Ankh symbol right here. To live, be alive, swear, to make a oath. When you make an oath, you're binding yourself to something by making a oath with your words. This is why the Ankh was also associated with the rope. We see here the Ankh is also associated with the living. Just keep it moving. Right here, we see the Ankh being associated with a captive or a prisoner of war. Why is that? Why would the Ankh be associated with a captive or prisoner of war? Because you see this image, this person right here, he's a captive, he's a prisoner, and his arms is binded by rope. There goes that word binding again when it comes to the Ankh. We see the word here, captive. The eye right here is also associated with the Ankh. Goat, small cattle associated with Ankh. Ear, goat, billy goat, the living. Goat, small cattle, all associated with the word Ankh. Even here, we see Ankh, to live. The Ankh is also associated with the beetle. The Ankh is also associated with there's many terminologies that the Ankh is associated with depending on the context of what you're talking about. We see the Ankh here, the sun. This is why we see the sun shining the rays of the Ankhs on Akhenaten and Nefertiti. Zerubbabel, those were not penises and vaginas. Brother, you got to step your scholarship up. You have to step your scholarship up, right? So let's keep it moving. All right, so let me back up out of this right quick. All right, fit the screen. All right, so now what I want to talk about here on the screen is the Ankh can also be symbolic to the human anatomy. This is the thoracic, if I'm saying it correctly, complex of the human body right here. As you can see, the Ankh is symbolic to the thoracic depiction of the human skeletal system. Let's take a look over here on the right, right? If you take a look at this depiction, we have the Ankh, and this right here is what is called the Djed pillar, or the spinal cord of Asar or Osiris. And this here is called the Wasp scepter, which was carried by the Netzeru, the pharaohs, and the priests. So these four columns you see right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, these horizontal columns is the spinal cord, and here is the loop around the neck. You see here on this side of the human skeletal, we have the spinal cord. Look at the loop around the neck on the skeletal. It looks like an Ankh, huh? Doesn't it? So these two pieces sticking out would be the collarbones. Look at that. This is the sternum right here in the middle. So what is the job of the thoracic system? It's there to protect your lungs. And what do the lungs do? The lungs give you the breath of life. So this is why the Ankh is symbolic of the human body. Now let's see how the Netzeru dealt with the Ankh in ancient Egypt. Zerubbabel, we see Anpu here holding the Ankh up to the nose of a king, giving him the breath of life. Zerubbabel, are you saying that this is a vagina and a penis? Are you stating claim that Anpu was holding a vagina and a penis to the nose of the king, giving him everlasting life, the breath of life? When we look at more depictions, we see the Ankh being held to the nose. Look at Hathor holding the Ankh to the nose of this sister, giving her everlasting life. It's not over. Look at this. Tahuti holding the Ankh to the nose. This is not a vagina and a penis. Zerubbabel, you are getting that hypothesis and false information from Thomas Eyman, your master teacher, who is a amateur mythologist. Here we go again. It don't stop. The Ankh being held to the nose, giving the kings and the pharaohs everlasting life.
2 minutes.
Right? So let's look at this. It says the Egyptian Ankhs are not necessarily what you think it means standing alone, but how the Egyptians use it in their text. Can somebody mute their mic, please? Can you hello? Can you stop my time? Somebody mute their mic, please. I hear
Go ahead.
feedback.
I did it. I got it.
Okay. All right. So let me start over. It says the Egyptian Ankh are not necessarily what you think it means standing alone, but how the Egyptians used it in their texts and illustrations. The most common depiction of the Ankh is being clutched in the hand of by the gods and the goddesses on the upper loop portion of the symbol. The Ankh appears frequently in Egyptian tomb paintings and other art, often at the fingertips of a god or goddess in images that represent the deities of the afterlife, confirming the gift of life on the dead. In other words, the Egyptians believed that their gods held eternal life in their hands. Zerubbabel, the reason why you're at a disadvantage in this debate is because you're a Hebrew Israelite. So your methodology, just based off of that alone, is why you're at a disadvantage when you try to speak on a culture
Are we? Hold on.
that,
What are we doing right now?
sir,
What are we doing?
sir, you're interrupting my time. Can you go on mute, please? Thank you. Zerubbabel, you are trying to cross over into information that's too complex for you to understand because you are a Bible believer. See, the Bible says, don't get tossed to and fro by different winds of doctrine. Don't get to read, don't get to dibbling and dabbling and other. See, when you're a Bible believer and you do that and you try to cross over, especially into Kemet, this is where you are going to fail miserably because you don't do comparative studies or textual criticism. You don't go in depth with the studies. And it shows by your scholarship and your methodology. The Ankh is not a penis. It is not a vagina. That is not the original meaning. I went into the language and showed you that the Ankh is not associated with the uterus, the vagina, or the penis or the phallus. I also showed you where Zerubbabel is getting his information from when it comes to the Ankh being a vagina and a penis from this amateur mythologist right here by the name of Thomas Inman.
It's other. It's not
It's
me. It's
time.
saying
Zerubbabel,
right. Excuse
you're
me.
interrupting
So
his time. But
Zerubbabel, you keep
your
interrupting
time
that.
was just up, but you
Okay,
can't
okay,
interrupt Zerubbabel.
okay,
Like what
okay,
the
okay.
heck?
Okay, well, let me get 10 seconds. Let me get 10 seconds since you interrupted me.
Okay.
So that's the end of my second round. I want to say thank you to everybody who is participating, and I'm ready to get into the answers. I mean
Okay.
the
Question
questions.
and answer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So Zerubbabel, you have a question. And when you
Yeah.
ask the question, mute your mic and give him 2 minutes to respond to your question.
All right. I have a question. Hey, so do so-called people of comedics, so-called comedics that follow the African faith, they believe in that it is a uterus and a penis? Yes or no? Or
I'm
phallus
so,
or yoni, like they say
I'm
in the
sorry.
text.
I'm, I'm sorry, brother. Can you repeat that question, man? My mic was going in and out. Can you
All right.
repeat that, please? Thank you.
All right. So is it correct that that people in the Kemetic faith believe that the Ankh is a yoni and a damn phallus, man. A pussy and a
Uh,
dick, man, for real.
so um, I just want to respond by saying that I'm taking this debate very serious. I don't know why you laughing and heckling. That's not what I'm here for, brother. If you
Hey, that's
believe,
that's cool. Just answer the
brother,
goddamn
can you
question,
not
man.
interrupt my answer round? I have 2 minutes, sir. If you need more time to ask your question, then I'll go on mute. So let's have some decorum, brother. Are you ready for me to answer? Yes or no? Okay, cool. So to answer your question, the burden of proof was on you to show that. You're asking me, did the ancient Egyptians believe that? If you believe that they believe that, you would have showed that tonight. But you proved my premise that the Ankh was indeed one of the major things that the Ankh was associated with was life, which you kept proving over and over again. So if you can't prove it, why are you asking me, sir? So that's my answer.
All right, that's what's up. I appreciate that. That's what's up. All right.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
he
Prodigy,
can ask all this.
you want to
He
ask
can,
all three first?
yeah, he can go ahead and ask all
Okay,
three, and then I'll
so
explain.
No. I thought we was doing the back and forth.
Okay, cool.
go ahead,
Yeah.
So,
Prodigy.
all right, cool. So, Zerubbabel, matter of fact, can you am my screen still showing? Let me stop my
Yeah, we
screen.
still see.
My screen. I apologize for that. So Zerubbabel, my question to you is this: can you show me anywhere before 1869 any historian, any scholar, even any ancient Egyptians when we go into the language? I mean, you can even use Manetho if you want to. Can you show me any ancient historian or scholar who claimed that the origin of the Ankh was a penis and a vagina before 1869?
No, it goes all the way back to damn Emin.
You said who?
Emin, the one that you damn post. Yeah.
Emin. Yeah, Thomason. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
Emin. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
I'm
So
not gonna
you,
lie to you. Hold on.
okay. Go ahead,
I'm not
brother.
gonna lie to you. But I'm saying this is the premise that a lot of cats have in the comedic community. They do, right?
Okay, brother. So just let me respond to
Okay.
that right quick. So I just want to
Okay,
say,
go ahead. Go ahead. I
okay,
mean, you
cool.
got
So
another question.
absolutely, brother. So I just want to say thank you for sitting here admitting that the hypothesis of the Ankh being a penis and a vagina goes back to Thomas Inman. You
Yeah,
just admitted that.
it
So by
does.
default, brother, by default, you lost the debate because you said it was the
No,
Egyptians
no, no,
who
no,
taught
nope,
that.
nope,
But you
nope.
just
I
admitted
didn't lose the debate.
that it was
I didn't
Thomas
lose the
Inman.
debate.
So thank you,
All
brother. I
right.
appreciate that.
My whole premise. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me finish. Let me let you finish. Go ahead.
I'm finished, brother. I'm going on mute.
All right.
That's
The only
it.
thing that I was saying, the whole premise was that a lot of comedic cats teach that, and I proved it by showing you Baba Haru teaching that. That's it. That's it.
Okay, so Zerubbabel, do you have a question for Prodigy for your second question?
Okay. Okay. Oh, so does the prodigy, does the so-called Ankh not represent life?
Are you ready for me to answer?
Of course.
Yes, one of the meanings, like I showed when I went to the glyphs with something you didn't do. Yes, one of the meanings is life. The Ankh means a plethora of things. It just
Yeah.
doesn't mean life. So yes, one of the things that it does mean is life. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. You want to ask one back, or you want me to keep going?
Well, you said you wanted to go back and forth, so
Okay. Cool.
I have
Cool.
no
I
problem.
got enough. All right,
Oh,
so we already got that. The Ankh means light, and we
okay,
already know this NK. Not right. We cool.
brother, it's my turn to ask the question. You
Go
just
ahead.
you just went. Okay, so can you show me anywhere in the actual glyphs the Ankh being associated with a phallus, penis, a uterus, or vagina? Can you actually demonstrate that to everyone here? Can you show us the Ankh
Well, we
being
do. Well,
associated
okay.
with that?
Great
According,
answer. Great question.
I'm not finished, brother.
Okay.
Have some decorum. Thank you. So, can you demonstrate that by going into the language and showing us how the Ankh is associated with the penis, the uterus, the vagina, or the phallus? Can you demonstrate that, sir?
No, I can't demonstrate that, but we do know that the knot of Isis is also related to the Ankh, and that is back when they said that they had to do that for put the rag in for menstruation. That is the knot of Isis. You can look it up.
Okay, can you hear me?
Of course, bro.
Okay, cool. So I want to share my screen. I want to respond to that for my 2 minutes. I want to go into let me share my screen right quick.
Do what you gotta do.
So I want to respond since I got 2 minutes since he mentioned the knot of
Knot
ISIS.
of Isis.
Absolutely. So is my screen being shared?
Uh,
Can anybody see my screen?
It should be coming
You see it?
pretty soon. 1 second.
Yes, we see your screen.
Okay,
There
cool.
you go.
All right. All right. So do you see this right here where it says Sir E.A. Wallace Budge? Y'all can see that, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a Egyptologist named Sir E.A. Wallace Budge.
we
Uh,
all know this
and,
one.
sir, can I have my 2 minutes uninterrupted,
I'm
please, brother?
I'm
Can you
about to
go on
mute
mute?
myself. Matter of fact.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So let me start my 2 minutes over again. It says Sir E.A. Wallace Budge. It says the theory of Egyptologist E.A. Wallace Budge, who started studying Egyptian language in 1883, claims the Ankh originated from the belt buckle of the goddess Isis. His theory is considered probable, but still not universally accepted. Wallace Budge equated the Ankh with the Egyptian symbol Tet, the knot of Isis, a ceremonial girdle thought to represent female genitalia and symbolizing fertility. The problem that I have with this information is that he says the Ankh originated from the belt buckle of the goddess Isis. How is that true when the Ankh predates the tit or the knot of Isis by over 400 years? The Ankh is dated to the first dynasty. The first time we see what is called the knot of Isis or the blood of Isis showing up in the third dynasty. So how can the Ankh come from the knot of Isis when the Ankh predates the knot of Isis by over 400 years, tracing back to the first dynasty? Also, it says the tit first appears in Egyptian iconography in the third dynasty. It was frequently used in association with the Djed pillar of Osiris. It says also called the blood of Isis. The tit represent menstrual blood. Some say
Yeah.
the amulet
Okay.
is
And
shaped,
so
brother. I'm not finished. The amulet is shaped like the cloth worn by women during menstruation. Others have interpreted as a representation of a ritual tampon that can be inserted in the vagina to prevent miscarriage. Just like we see Isis making sure that she protected Heru when she was pregnant with Heru, and we all know how that story with dealing with Set. So,
It's
but
2 minutes.
so just let me finish this off. The Ankh does not come from the knot of ISIS. It actually predates the knot of ISIS. So E.A. Wallace, Budge, and Zerubbabel was wrong on that point. All right, I yield my time. Let me stop my screen.
I don't know. Is it Zeru who has a question?
My bad, I was muted. Hey, I appreciate that response. That's what I really expected because it was the truth. Okay, so I think we done with the questions and answers. I think we are.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Hey, Europa.
Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes.
Yes,
Who's
ma'am.
talking? Okay. So we can get into the panel. Who would like to just go first? Shaka or Crumb?
Uh,
TD?
yeah, sure. I'll go first if that's okay.
Fine.
I'm sorry.
You can go ahead, Brother Crumb.
Yeah, I want to first and foremost put some respect on the channel, the information age. Shout out to y'all doing a wonderful job. Second to the listening audience, shout out to everybody who's listening now, and for all those who are going to catch this later. I just want to put this out there, family. Smash that like button, family. Come on, tap in. It's been nothing but straight fire, pressure, and heat this whole hour. So put some respect on the energy, the information, and everything that's been put out by hitting that like button. Also hit that subscribe button. So yeah, with that said, I want to give a big shout out to both of the debaters. Y'all, this has been the first time I've experienced anything like this. We just do adding value on my side, but I love this, iron sharpens iron, and I love to see the brothers do the warrior thing. Lions roar, and that's what I expect. And both of the brothers did that. So within that realm, both of you came with the heat. Now, for me to bring the other side of it, because the feedback motto is to provide, positive feedback first. With that said, I believe that Voorhees was very well prepared. He stuck to the PowerPoint. I did have an issue with his mic in the beginning. He fixed that. He stated his position in the very beginning in a debate. I'm not even a professional debater, but we have to state, whatever our position is initially. The first brother Hebrew Israelite, Shalom, he didn't state his position in the beginning. I was a little dissatisfied with that, as I wasn't clear what his argument was. He didn't clarify that. Voorhees did. Shout out to him on that. Voorhees was very well prepared. I've been on both sides of the coin. I've been in a situation where I wasn't well prepared, and I was pulling for all places, and I was, even though I knew where I was going, I appeared all over the place. Not to say the brother was all over the place, but he appeared that way, at least in comparison to Voorhees. Voorhees was very well prepared with each and every one of his points. Last point that really pushed me over the line was the decorum. I don't like the debate part because, the stereotypical black people just it's just chaotic. So the decorum piece for me is essential if I'm going to partake in it, because I don't want it to be, with all due respect, niggerish. And that was the part that I don't think he was trying to be like that. I just know that we as a people tend to go in that direction, and I saw it. However minuscule it was, it did come off that way. So my vote unanimously on both rounds and the Q&A goes to Prodigy Voorhees. Peace and love to the brother.
Thank you.
All right, that is great. Who would like to go next? Who all this? I can't see. Shaka Amos or LV or Jessus?
Can I be heard?
Yes.
First and foremost, I would like to give my respect to the information age, Denise and Ivory Scales, two wonderful ladies who are trailblazing the way. Shout out to you too. I could be heard, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I don't know if Crump was saying raise the roof or raise. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest here. Prodigy Voorhees has shown a level of scholarship, but not only the scholarship, it's the methodology in which he is disseminating his information. So me as a listener, it was clear in what he was trying to prove. I believe that he covered that, but not only that, he had room for his rebuttals and responses, and it satisfied me. The other brother, you appear to become deflated, and that's okay. All of this is a learning experience. And until you encounter somebody else with a better methodology, you don't know what you need to fix and critique. So I give you my respect and my love, and I tell you to keep grinding. Prodigy Voorhees, hand down.
Okay. Thank you. Who's next on the panel?
All right, so you can hear me?
Shaka, I think. Oh, Jess. Okay, there you go. I'm
I'm
trying to
here.
go around here.
If Shaq want to go, it's fine.
I hear you, Jess. Go ahead, baby.
Go ahead.
Okay. This is probably one of first of all, give thanks for Information Age, doing a great job. I mean, I definitely appreciate this here. This was wonderful, energizing. I mean, I was tuned in like this was a sports event. So definitely want to say everyone is doing a good job here. First to start off. As far as the information itself, Prodigy, I think did a great job. It's probably one of the first time I've seen where a person is not only gonna start off with their standpoint, give information, and also give information for the other person. I mean, the dude covered the whole thing. He actually helped the guy with the information at the same time. The information that he didn't have. I mean, I had no questions. I was 100% satisfied. I've never seen that before in my life. I was 100% satisfied with it. I mean, to me, it's Prodigy all the way.
All right. You done?
Yes, I'm done with it. Yes.
Okay. Are you ready, Brother Shaka?
I'm ready. I'm always
All
ready.
right.
Well, I think that everyone watching, if they're honest within themselves and if they're just objectively, if they're objective thinkers, they would be forced to admit loudly in a very clear voice, unmistakably, that Prodigy Voorhees committed a Friday the 13th massacre in this debate. And you really couldn't even call it a debate. It just wasn't a debate. It's kind of like, I just want to give you a quick analogy. First of all, I can just tell from the comments by some of the people commenting that I'm certainly not the smartest person in here. I'm certainly not the most intelligent or well-informed or educated person in this environment. So I'm privileged and honored just to be here with everyone who's here. That said, it's kind of like someone who only understands arithmetic trying to have an argument with someone who's talking about calculus. And then I'm looking at the comments of people telling Zerubbabel, I think is his name, people who are telling him that he did a good job. That's like a chorus of people who only understand arithmetic commenting on a debate between someone who teaches calculus and someone who barely understands arithmetic. This was not a debate. A debate means you have two people who are actually engaged in scholarship, who agree on the larger picture, but there are minute distinctions that may not be so minute that they have points of contention with. And that's when the knowledge is pulled out. This was not a debate. This was a class given by Prodigy Voorhees. And I was very honored and privileged to be a student in that class. And that's just the truth of the matter. And I don't say this in any I'm not trying to be mean spirited in any way. I'm just a very forthright, honest person. And I'm not saying this with any bias, because truthfully, there was one thing that Zerubbabel said that I thought was interesting. And I always teach people, a really good debater, a really good teacher, even if you want to say that, can argue the point from both sides. And in other words, if you're really good, you can argue Zerubbabel's point if you're really good. If you're really good, you can argue Voorhees' point. But you don't have to be really good to argue Voorhees, because Voorhees' point was so well done. It stands on its own merit. I know that some people didn't particularly care for his methodology. I can't complain because, like I said, I'm probably the least scholarly person present here, right? I just study, I do what I can do, and I think that's what all of us try to do. But Prodigy really, really committed a Friday the 13th massacre. Let me give you something, and this is not to be mean-spirited, but it's to point something out, right? And it's going to sound mean-spirited, but I really just want to highlight this because it's something that stood out to me. And it's where we sometimes have to move our ego out of the way and just accept things as they are. And I'm going to leave it at that because it's not my lecture. I noticed that Zerubbabel, I think is his name, he had very, very serious problems with pronouncing very, very basic words. He couldn't read correctly the word anonymity. He had problems with grade school words like variety. And what I'm saying is that if you're talking about scholarship and your literacy level is that compromised, then you might want to move your ego to the side, your religious ego to the side, and spend more time educating yourself on the basics, like just reading and reading comprehension, so that you genuinely understand what it is that you're reading, which will then reinforce any premises or arguments that you may have. But it was a very uneven. If this was MMA, the first round, there was no need for a second round. There was no need for a third round. It was over from from the beginning. So that's just my perspective. The details speak for themselves. I don't really think I have to go back through. I don't think that I have to go back.
Hold on, Zeru. Let him finish.
I'm not saying anything that I'm saying in order for either side to agree with me. I don't have any dog in the race. Look, the Kemetic community doesn't really care for me for the most part because I quite often go against what they say, right? In other words, I don't believe in. I'm not an apologist, and I don't care for people who are apologists because they're putting their opinions before the facts. And the only thing that Voorhees came with was documented facts. A large part of the problem that I had with Zerubbabel was from the very beginning, he showed no sources. He just started reading. There were no authoritative references. And I'm a person, I commit logical fallacies all the time, but I believe in committing logical fallacies for a good cause. Like I will appeal to authority in a heartbeat. Why? Because at the end of the day, when you send your children to school and your tax money is paying for teachers, you're paying for their authority, not for them to be correct, not for them to be, not for them to show veracity, but simply because they are purportedly an authority on what they're teaching. So absolutely, I will commit a logical fallacy in a heartbeat if it's for a good cause. Because at the end of the day, you have to consider the people who are on the other end of you teaching. They came to learn. Right? They came to learn. They didn't come for you to be perfect. They came to learn. At the end of the day, what it is that they know, they will have to take the ultimate responsibility for that. Not you, not Zerubbabel, or even Prodigy Voorhees. It's each person in earshot, right? Even this this clown you have in the audience who calls him a Kalfani, he knows who he is, right? So, and I don't normally use language like that, but I was just looking at some of the comments being made, and I was just wondering where some of the poor demeanors are coming from. I thought, this is the information age. This is the information age platform. I think it's awesome. I'm so privileged to be here, and and that's it. I certainly do appeal to authority all the time. I commit logical fallacies all the time. Why? Because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, the evidence has the last word. It's not you. It's not me. It's not anybody else. It's the evidence. And I think that enough people saw enough evidence to know who actually won this massacre of a debate. And that's my perspective, you know. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
And I'm open
Shaka?
to questions. I'm open to questions from anyone.
Okay.
You know.
Could I just mention real quick? I must be transparent. Prior to this debate, I was under the impression that the Ankh represented the vagina and the penis. And when he said there are a lot of people that are under that impression, I was one of those people he referenced. So I don't want to say anything other than Voorhees would have Friday the 13th me. If I was in a debate right now with him, he would have got me because I would have never went on the debate. But I want to say it as well. At the end of the day, I'm the master student, and I submit to the authority as well. Thank
you. I want to add as well too. I definitely have some thoughts on that as well, but I also know there's always a counterpart to everything. So while one of the things definitely will stand out, and I like what he did, he talked about the esoteric, he talked about the origin pattern and how we have made a physical counterpart to it, which the physical never trumped the original part to it, which is the actual essence of what it stands for. And sometimes people, of course, take information and create their own thing. But you always go back to the essence. And the essence is going to trump what somebody else feels what it is. So I definitely appreciate that, how he put that in place. And straight from the gate. And I'm like, wow, this guy got it. I mean, and some things I did not know. So he taught me some things with that as well. And I'm like, this is amazing. You know, like, I love this.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else have anything to say?
I'd like to say one more thing if I can, if I briefly can. I'd appreciate it. Would that be okay?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Something else I'd like to point out is that it is, I'm sure it's frustrating for a lot of people in any community to be lumped in with everyone in their community. So let's just use the Hebrew Israelites, right? All Hebrew Israelites don't believe the same thing. All Hebrew Israelites don't preach the same thing. All Hebrew Israelites don't subscribe to the same doctrines. They argue amongst themselves. That's why they have what? Camps, right? So why should the Kemetic community be any different, right? You have within the Kemetic community, you have camps. So you need to stop painting the Kemetic community with this imaginary broad brush that's going to leave you with imaginary conclusions about who and what the Kemetic community is. I'll give you an example, right? Like, I'm not a metal nature expert. I study it, right? And I'm really not too interested, just from my perspective, I'm not too interested in the religious aspect of ancient Kemet. I don't think that was their real legacy. I think their real legacy for me, and what I like to study, their real legacy was in economics, right? Economics and state planning. Those are the things that I'm interested in. Economics, the origin of money, and state planning. I think that because it leads to, ultimately, if done correctly, it will lead to business and finance literacy, and where you can see your legacy, your historical imprint, and your footprint. So that's what I'm interested in, right? So I want to say this. He showed Baba Heru, Samaj Patah, sitting in some interview, echoing Thomas Manning's, if that's his name, Thomas Manning's theory about the sexual genitalia, the human genitalia in reference to the Ankh. And what I will say is this, is that there are many people, and for years, many people who critique, if you will, Baba Heru's perspective on ancient Egypt. No one is going to quote him as a scholarly source. not only is no one in the Kemetic community going to quote him as a scholar, and I love him and I respect him and I consider him an elder, but he's not a scholar that I would reference. And not only that, he showed no sources or references to substantiate what he said about the Ankh. So just because somebody says something and holds up an Ankh and claims to be an ambassador of the Kemetic community doesn't make it necessarily so, because everyone has different standards. Maybe for some people, he will meet their standards. For other people, he won't meet their standards. For me, I don't meet everybody's standards. You have some clown in the audience who I don't even know calling me pseudo. Why? I don't know, but I obviously I don't meet his standards. Then you have other people who pay me large sums of money to come and speak for 2 hours. So, because I meet their standards. Everybody's at a different place. Everybody's at a different place. But we need to be careful when we when we bring people out of the closet, but when we bring people front and center and say, here's one of your representatives saying A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Maybe for a small group of people in the Kemetic community, he is their mentor, their historical mentor. But for far more people in the Kemetic community, he's not. So I've never thought that the Ankh had anything to do with sexual genitalia. But here's the thing. If it did, I would have no problem with it. One of the problems with Hebrew culture is that because it is an immature culture, they have very immature ideas about sex and sexual expression. So they're uncomfortable about things like speaking about the phallus or speaking about the womb or the vagina. These things are disgusting to them. And part of the reason for that is that a lot of their worldview comes from the Greeks. And the Greeks themselves had issues about the human body, as most Indo-Europeans would and did. So, but African people don't have those sexual hangups. Dr. Ben spoke about that often. About the Dr. Ben often spoke about
man. You seen that brother bringing that shit out? It came from a damn so-called Greek, man.
I got you.
Would you?
I got you. I did.
All right.
Sorry.
So, so the Hebrew culture is a very immature culture. So when speaking about things of a sexual nature, they're uncomfortable with it. So they have to make jokes about it, as Prodigy Voorhees excellently pointed out. He was like, why are you laughing every time you're speaking about sex? Anytime something sexual came out of his mouth, it was always followed by a chuckle, by laughter. That is the sign of someone who has grown old but has not grown up. If you're grown up, you don't have any issue speaking about sex. If you're speaking, you just don't. And truthfully speaking, what Zerubbabel fails to realize is, I personally would not have had a problem with his connecting of the Ankh to sexual genitalia, and I'll tell you why. Because it's very clearly stated in the Predit Em Heru, in the Book of the Dead, and also in the pyramid text, that the ancient Egyptians had very explicit sexual expectations for the afterlife. Why? For the hereafter. Why? Because sex was something they enjoyed on earth. To be with a woman was like heaven on earth for a man. And I presume the same for a woman. For a woman to be with a man, that part of your brain, that hypothalamus, is being connected during sex. You feel like, dopamine release, you feel like it's heaven on earth. So the ancient Egyptians absolutely 100% is documented. They had sexual expectations concerning the hereafter. And so if they did connect sexual genitalia to the Ankh, which I've seen no documentation that they did, but if they did, I wouldn't have a problem with it. And so I just wanted to say that, and I wanted to give a shout out to Voorhees for doing he is a true saber. And that's from my perspective. I consider him a true saber, a ma'at saber. Absolutely, a true teacher. And I think that Zerubbabel should actually improve his reading skills and study better material. Because it's very easy to come away with poor ideas if you're studying poor material. But if you can't make the distinction between commendable material and poor material, and don't feel bad about that, because even I had to outgrow that. When I first started, everything that I was reading wasn't, I wouldn't recommend. I wouldn't recommend Renu Neche by Una Fair Amen to people to read. I wouldn't. There's a whole lot of things written by our master teachers that I would never recommend Stolen Legacy to anybody. I think it's poor scholarship. It would suffice for its time. But once you know the sources that George G. and James used, I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. And so it's a part of growth. Once you stop growing, you're dead. That's the only time you should stop growing. So if your religion has you so cemented in your thinking that you can't grow, then you're dead while you're alive. And we don't have anything to discuss, you and I. You know, I don't talk to dead people. That's not true. I do. I think we all do. I talk to my grandmother all the time.
All right. Zerubbabel, would you like to say something now? Huh?
Yeah, I want to say something. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Hey, I appreciate everybody on the panel, all the judges, Chrome TV, that op, Shaka Most, that op, the brother, I can't see, somebody type, the other brother down there, man, that op, and especially the brother Prodigy Voorhees, man, especially appreciate that. You know, this is nothing but a discussion for me. You know, you can tell by my name, it ain't no skin off my back, you know, at all. So I appreciate the discussion.
All righty.
Yep, I'm not
So,
yeah,
okay.
LV Europa, yeah. Shout out to you, bro. Just Us, shout out to you. Of course, Ivory Scale, shout out to you. Denise, shout out to you. Yeah. Well, yeah, this was, like I said, this was just my second debate, man. This was, and I just was wrapping it up. I tried to get down 2 more hours. Somebody said no.
Okay. So, with that being said, I thank everyone for coming and blessing my platform. Before I leave, Brother Crumb, could you pull up the event, the Juneteenth event that's coming up in Atlanta? Brother Crumb has an event that's coming up. Get your tickets. I got mine. If you're in the Atlanta area or if you can afford to travel, you know, I like dialoguing with everybody in the metal world. But if you guys could come out, please do so. And if you can't pull it up, I'll make sure that I keep posting it to my Facebook and everything.
Sister Ivory, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let this is Prodigy. I'm gonna let the brother Crumb go ahead and get out the information, and then I'll go ahead and close out as well, like Zerubbabel did.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Oh yes, I'm sorry, Prodigy.
No,
sorry.
No. It's all good. It's all good. I'm going to mute, and I'm gonna let the brother go ahead and get the information out to the people.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready. You can share screen.
Okay. Let's see. Share screen.
Yeah, so Juneteenth just became a national holiday last year. I did my first one last year, sold out. It was very posh, very nice, beautiful energy, lots of beautiful people. We all dressed up, very fancy, catered event. No, I'm sorry. We had a chef, live in the kitchen. So the Juneteenth luncheon lecture Saturday, June 18th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. right here in Atlanta, Georgia. You can get your tickets at crumtv.info/events. That's crumtv.info/events. Thank you so much.
All righty. Okay, go ahead, Brother Prodigy.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So first and foremost, I definitely want to give a shout out to Information Age. Thank you for putting on this debate. Thank you, Sister Ivory. Thank you, Denise, for hosting this debate. I also want to say thank you to Crumb TV. Thank you, brother, for being open and honest and not biased. Thank you to the brother Just Us for being open and honest and not biased. My brother LV, it's been a minute. Yeah, I see you got rid of the locks, brother.
Yeah, you know, it's all.
I see you, man. I see you, man. You over there on your R&B tip. I see you, brother. Thank you, man, for being open and honest and not biased. Brother Shaka Almos. Hey, listen, brother, whether you know it or not, man, I've been a student of yours for a long time, brother. So, hearing those words come from you, means a lot, brother. So thank you. I really appreciate that, man. That means a lot to me. Shout out Ampu Crew, the squad. Shout out Team Ma'at, the squad. Listen, I've been in this community, as far as the information goes, since 2007. So I've been doing this for a while now. Also, shout out to brothers like Asar Imhotep, Wujawu, a lot of brothers in the community that's bringing forth this information. And I just want to say thank you for everybody, especially all those who out there watching, who took the time and energy to watch the debate. Thank you very much, man. And I appreciate the love and respect. And I'm gonna end it like that, man. Hotep.
Hey, Prodigy, I
All
want you
right.
to do that PowerPoint on Crumb TV.
Absolutely, brother. Let's get it. Let's put something together, brother, and we'll make it happen.
Hey,
Yes,
brother,
sir.
I definitely want to say something to Prodigy Voorhees because it's been a while. And I remember this argument, but this one is more refined. And it just shows the growth that you've experienced, bro. So I just want to tip my hat to you, man. And I'm going to be on Crumb TV in the classroom, too, watching that breakdown. Go get that right.
That's right, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you.
I'd definitely like to get on my show as well, so I can see how I can push you a little further with that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I see you, Just Us.
But
All righty. Thank everyone for tuning in, and see you next time.